Hello and welcome to today's Capping Corner. We are going to talk about the Wood Memorial. It's at Aqueduct on Saturday, and it has a pretty competitive field. Now, the favorite is going to be Risk Taking, who won the Wither Stakes at 9 furlongs. He also broke his maiden at 9 furlongs on this course, I believe. You could correct me on that because I don't have the past performances. But what do you think of Risk Taking? Is he a logical choice or is his price too short?
I think the price of risk taking would be too short to be the favorite, especially because when he won the Withers, he beat Overtook and Capocane, and well, those horses both are injured and was a bit slow compared to this group. Well, the pedigree is okay for risk taking. It seems he can handle the distance because he has two wins at 9 furlongs, so the distance is not an issue. But I think he needs to move a bit forward to win this race because now he's facing faster horses.
Yeah, he only earned a 109 Timeform US speed figure, and that's not the highest figure in the race. And I didn't like how he was whipped in the stretch of the Withers. I thought he had to be urged too hard, so I don't know if it was a dominant victory. He could win, but I don't want him at 5-2.
Me neither.
Let's talk about the second choice, Prevalence, who broke his maiden at Gulfstream. He also won an optional claiming race at 1 mile, I think. So he does have some route experience, although it was one turn and he beat a questionable field. What do you think of Prevalence? Is it too much too soon?
Well, Prevalence looked fantastic when he broke his maiden on a 7 furlongs race. Then, after that race, he got sick with a slight fever and he missed some weeks of training and he was he missed the Fontaine of Youth. He skipped that race. And well, he started to train again and tried an allowance race. In that race, he beat a modest group. It was a really weak group, and in that race, he wasn't that marvelous than in the first race. Probably he was a bit short. He needed that race, but I think he would struggle with the distance. I don't know, but his pedigree on the dam side is plagued of sprinters and milers. You see, he's half sibling to St. Duff. He was a miler in Maiden and another sprinter in Maiden. So probably I don't like him for 9 furlongs.
Do you think the missed training time affected his performance in his second start?
Probably yes, and remember that he got a fever, and always the when horses got fever, he lost form. So it probably he would be a bit short in that race. But I don't like the horses that got sick and missed training down the Derby trail. So at that price, I'm skipping.
Yeah, he doesn't have the highest figure on time form US. He doesn't have graded stakes experience. He doesn't have experience past 1 mile. So that's the trifecta of failure. I don't know. We'll see. He could win, but I'm not going to bet him at 3-1. I think that's too short on a horse with no graded experience. Let's talk about Crowded Trade, who is a Chad Brown trainee. He was second in the Gotham Stakes in his first graded stakes experience, and he also broke his maiden on this course. Now he stretches out to 9 furlongs for the first time, and I like him a lot. He earned a 113 Timeform US speed figure in that race, and I also like how he fought in the stretch. It was only his second start, so I could forgive the fact that he lost. What do you think of Crowded Trade?
Yes, Crowd Trade has a legit choice in this race, mainly because he was an inexperienced horse, and he ran a very good race in the Gotham. It's true that he's now running a 9 furlongs, stretching up to 9 furlongs. And probably his pedigree, well, he's by more than ready, so he could handle the distance. Probably that could be his limit. But it seems he is the other horse, the other Chad Brown horse. This horse is riding by Eric Cancel and risk-taking by Irat Ortiz. Do you think there is a difference?
I'm okay with it. Cancel rode him fine in the Gotham Stakes, so I can't really knock him. I don't think he's gonna do anything wrong. He knows the course well enough.
Okay. Yes, he shows really. He was a fast in that race, the Gotham, and he could move forward. So I think he has a legit shot.
I also like how the race might set up for him because he's a stalker and he might be in third or fourth, just maybe a few lengths behind. And if the pace heats up, he'll be right there to take advantage.
Fine.
Let's talk about Wayburn, who actually won the Gotham Stakes. Now, this one has a really nice pedigree. His second dam, Million Gift, is a half-sister to Sky Beauty, who won, I think, 9 Grade 1 races in her career. Wayburn made his graded stakes debut in that race, and he barely won by a nose, but I like how he fought in the stretch. He was on the inside, and he wouldn't give up against Crowded Trade. What do you think of Wayburn?
Well, Wayburn is bred to handle the distance, and I think he's bred to handle the classic distance also. I love that pedigree, and in the Gotham, that was his first race of the layoff, and he showed a really braveness and courage to win the race. When he changed leads on the stretch, well, he passed and re-rallied and passed Crowded Trade. I think this horse would love the distance, and he's one of my choices.
I'm only worried about the pace scenario because there's a cheap speed from Parks on the outside.
Market Maven, I think.
Oh, Market Maven. I'm worried that he might soften up Wayburn or any other horse that tries to get the lead. What do you think?
Oh, I think those horses can ride Wayburn, Crowded Trade, and they will let him go because I think Market Maven is not a threat in this race.
Okay, let's talk about DynamicOne, who is trained by Todd Pletcher. Now, Todd Pletcher finally got his win on the Derby Trail last week with Known Agenda. This week, some people are saying DynamicOne is kind of similar. Is DynamicOne ready to win a Derby Trail race?
DynamicOne is a horse that has had very bad luck in the draw. When he lost to Greatest Honor, he drew on the far outside and he lost a lot of ground on the first turn. Despite that, he was able to finish second, 2 lengths or a length and a half to Greatest Honor. Then he tried again a maiden special weight and drew the 12th post position in 1 mile and 1/16. That is a terrible post position. He lost a lot of ground at the first turn and was very wide, and it was impossible to win from that post. Finally, he got a good post at Aqueduct. Okay, probably the field was not the best, but he won very easy by 5 lengths. This horse this is a presser. He will press the pace. Well, the pedigree is also interesting. You see there is My Flag and Easy Goer on his dam line. Probably he will run near the pace, and let's see. I think he will move forward and will show his best in the Wood Memorial.
Okay, I think that's all the time we have. My choice is going to be Crowded Trade, but I think you should use Wayburn in your pick fours. If I was going to make a win bet, it's probably going to be on Crowded Trade. But those are my only two horses that I'm going to use. So, what are your final choices?
Okay, my first choice is Wayburn. Wayburn is a horse that should improve in his second race of the layoff, and his pedigree suggests he can handle the distance. My second pick is DynamicOne. It's a very interesting horse, especially at this price. And my third choice is the brown horse, Crowded State.
Crowded trade.
Crowded Trade. We didn't talk of Brooklyn Strong. Brooklyn Strong was a very good horse at 2, but he hasn't run, for a while. He hasn't run since December. Probably he could hit the board because he's a really good horse. But that's all.
But you don't like him to win?
No, I think he's going to run well, and he's going to point for another race in the future.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's our episode today of Capping Corner. Thanks for watching our car video, and we might be back next week with our coverage of the Arkansas Derby at Oaklawn.
Okay, see you next week.
All right, see you next week.